the greatest.
What's up, guys? Myself, Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, Educational and Health and Social Well-Being. Today, guys, give you the deadlift tutorial as promised. I'm gonna give you the full breakdown of the conventional deadlift, as well as the sumo deadlift, as well as addressing a few myths and misconceptions, pretty much just like the pull-up tutorial video. That's pretty much what I'm gonna be doing all my tutorial video, guys, giving you some information behind the movement itself, and then showing you how to properly perform it. So, before we get into it, as far as deadlifts, let's address a few things. A lot of people have this mindset that deadlifts are only for power lifters, or that it's just an ego lift, it's just for strength, that you get no benefits as far as like overall hypertrophy and everything like that. Now, while I will say that you do not have to deadlift for hypertrophy in your back, your glutes, hamstrings, that's fine. If you just don't like deadlifts, you don't have to do it. There's other movements you can do to build those muscles. However, to say that deadlifts do not stimulate hypertrophy when you're literally working 80% of the muscles in the body does not make sense. That's completely disproven. As always, I'll have a link down below that goes into the details of all the muscles that the deadlifts works. But you have to keep in mind, guys, you're working your entire posterior chain. Everything from your traps all the way down is getting hit. So the whole thing about it's not a good move for hypertrophy, that's not true. You guys already know the truth about the connection between strength and hypertrophy for natural lifters. You've already seen the video about the truth about rep ranges, how it's about total volume done. So whether you're doing sets of 3, sets of 7, sets of 10, whatever, deadlifts are a great movement. Once again, a bang for your buck movement as far as overall hypertrophy. So let's get that out of the way. Second thing, I don't do deadlifts because it's gonna stunt my growth. Guys, I don't know where you guys are getting this from. That's just a myth for weightlifting as a whole, that like if you're a certain age, you shouldn't lift weights because it's gonna stunt your growth. Look, guys, here's the reality. So long as you are using proper form of technique and you do not hurt yourself, you're not gonna stunt your growth. The only way that's gonna happen is like, say you're still going through puberty, right? And your plates haven't completely sealed with your bones, something like that, and then you hurt yourself drastically, you get injured, yes, that can affect your growth. But that's with any movement. Squats, bench, deadlifts, anything where you hurt your knees, hurt your core, anything like that, yes, that can hinder your growth if you're still growing, like going through puberty. But that's nothing to worry about so long as you have proper form and technique, which I'm gonna be going over with you guys. And last thing, guys, understanding that if you're an athlete, you definitely need to be doing some type of deadlift, some type of heavy pull, because it's an explosive movement. It's a very strong, power dominant movement, right? It's the reason that's one of the big 3 in powerlifting. On top of just, make sure you're doing some type of squat, you wanna make sure you're deadlifting just because it's a very explosive movement. You're coming from a static position and just pulling straight off the ground. There's not gonna be too many movements that are gonna top deadlift in terms of just overall like the power that you're producing. So, and that's any athletes that I've trained, they already know 2 movements that they're definitely gonna be doing. They may not all necessarily squat, most of them will, but 2 things they're definitely gonna be doing is some type of standing overhead press and some type of pull off the ground, some type of deadlift, period. So now we've gotten out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with the deadlift itself. So, like everything, like most movements got standing movement, everything starts from the ground up. So, starting off with the feet. The biggest issue that I see with a lot of people is they either start too far behind the bar, or they start too close up to the bar. Come in closer so you can see the feet. You don't want to start right here. Your shin shouldn't be against the bar already during your starting point. However, at the same time, you don't want to be back here because I'm too far behind. See, look, from this position, grabbing the bar, that's already going to make me have to round to pick the bar up, right? That's going to put a lot of pressure on my back. You want to put yourself in what's going to be the best position, biomechanically speaking, to pull the weight off the ground. So what you want to do is cut your foot in half. The midline, come over with the feet so they can see. Want to be the same position. See how it's like, it's cutting my foot in half, guys, right there, right over the midline. I'm not back here, it's not over the toes. It's not against my shins, right here, midline of the feet. So that's where your starting position is gonna be. As far as how far apart your feet are gonna be, it's gonna vary a little bit from person to person. Some people have slightly wider hips, some people are slightly closer, but the best cue I give people is you wanna be in the stance you're gonna be if you're about to jump. That's your power stance. If you're about to do a box jump, that's where you wanna be. So, cutting my feet in half with the bar in my position so I'm gonna jump. Now here's the next thing. I don't want my toes completely straight. I wanna abduct my toes just slightly, bring them apart just slightly. Not too much, just a little bit. Once again, to give you that good power position. So we got our bar over the midline of the foot, not straight, abduct just a little bit. So we got our feet placement, we're good to go there. Now legs, we're gonna go to the upper body. So cues I always like to give people before they even start is arms long. Because a lot of people, they'll deadlift with bend in their arm, right? They'll have their arms bent. You don't want your arms bent, you want your arms long from the start. So arms long, yes, shoulders back. Getting that scalp contraction going, shoulders back. From this position, I'm gonna bend at my knees, just slightly, right? Now from here, it's not so much bending at the knees, more so much as once my knees are bent, because watch, my knees bend, right? Shins against the bar. Next, I'm gonna hinge at the hips. Basically what I'm doing is sticking my butt out, keeping that back straight. Boom, in this position right here. My hands are going right on the outside of my legs. See, and now at this point, I'm starting up, bars right over the midline of the foot. As I go down and I hinge, boom, now my shins are against the bar. At this point, you want shins against the bar. If you start here and you come down, shins aren't against the bar, right? Which means you need to move your feet up closer. That's why we always use that midline, because if the bar's over the midline of the foot, once you kneel down, boom, your shin should be right against the bar. Now notice, guys, look, like I said, slight bend in the knees, then I'm hinging at the hips. I'm not bending over. I'm hinging at the hips. Boom. See that alignment with my back? It's not broken up. That alignment is completely from my butt, my hips, all the way to my back. That alignment is straight. That's what I want from this position right here, right? Now, from this point, a few things. A lot of people like to start down here. They start down here to try to get more leg drop. But you don't want to do that, because once you do, you're going to raise up first anyway before the bar even leaves the ground. So there's no need for necessarily starting down here. Now, your starting position is going to vary from person to person, but more often than not, you're going to be somewhere closer in this position right here. Not down here, I'm right here. So I'm not bending at the knees too much. Once again, focusing on hinging at the hips. So once we're in this start position, right? And this is the easy part. This is like, most people can get in this position well enough. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but you have to get used to it. From here, we want to make sure that we have our hips low and our chest up. And once again, those two cues are going to go together, because if I raise my chest, my hips are going to go down anyway. So if you focus on, hey, hips low, your chest will go up. If you focus on chest up, your hips are going to go low anyway. So we're in this position, right? Chest up, boom. See that? I bring my chest up, my hips go low. So my hips are high right now. Chest up, boom. Hips are low. Next, we want to make sure that we're bringing our shoulder blades back. So like trying to squeeze our lats together. Boom. Y'all see that? So right now, my shoulders rounded forward. Boom, bring it back. Here, this, so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about as far as what your shoulders are going to look like. So, right now, my chest is up, right? My shoulders are forward. I'm going to bring them back. Boom, shoulders back. And now they're forward. Before I pull, boom, shoulders back. From this position, I'm driving through my heels, straight up, boom, squeeze my glutes at the top. That's the main thing, guys. That's how you lock out. You squeeze your glutes at the top, put your hips to the bar, come back down. There's no need for you to overextend your back. That's what a lot of people do, right? They'll come over, they'll come up, boom, bunch of this, right? All that's doing is putting unnecessary pressure on your lower back. There's no need for that. There's no reason to do it. I know a lot of people do it because that's what they see other people doing, because they get really aggressive with it. And that's really all it is, guys. A lot of people get really into the lift, they get aggressive with it, and they're like, ah! But that's not doing anything for you. To lock out, all we're doing is driving it up, squeeze our glutes to the top, bring your hips to the bar. Boom. This is lockout. This is overdoing it. Right here is lockout. Body's completely straight. And then go back down. That's all in all what the deadlift setup is going to look like. Now, as I mentioned before, a few cues that you want to keep in mind. And these are really simple. If you keep in mind, you're always going to be able to effectively make sure you're in the right position. So, let's start from the first one. V position. Midline. Got it. Done. Hinge at the hips. Done. Chest up. Shoulders back. Drop through your heels. Squeeze glutes to the top. Boom. Back down. Now, as far as the eccentric part of the motion, lowering the weight, a couple misconceptions. Number one, if you're at the top and you want to just let it go, you can do that. Now, what I recommend is for people to keep your hands on the bar the whole time, especially if you're a powerlifter, because that's part of the rules. You have to control the weight on the way down. But you don't have to go crazy slow with it. What I mean by that is this. Once you're up here at the top, just bring it back down. You don't have to do this. You have to go crazy slow with it. This is not a Romanian deadlift. There's no need for that. For one, you're really not getting that much benefit in terms of overall hypertrophy when you're doing the eccentric motion of a deadlift. I'll leave a link in the description down there going into detail on that as well. But the most bang and the most benefit you get from the deadlift is going to be on the concentric part of the motion when you're coming up. That's when you're getting all that good muscle activation. Now, controlled eccentrics do have its place, like I said, with a Romanian deadlift, where we're hinging at there slowly, going down, and then back up. That's fine. But with a conventional deadlift, when you start getting to the point where you're doing 400-500 pounds, trying to control that weight going down slowly it's really gonna put a lot of unnecessary pressure on your lower body. So once you're locked out, just come down with it. You don't have to come down like uncontrolled, keep your form, but just come down with it. So once you're at this point right here, just come down. Still have some control over it, but you're not purposely trying to go crazy slow like you would maybe on a curl when you're coming down nice and slow. The deadlift is not that type of movement. That's not something you want to do. So just keep that in mind. That's all in all pretty much what the conventional deadlift looks like. Now, for sumo deadlifts, the cues are pretty much exactly the same. But a few of the differences are, first of all, I'll go out and say right now, if you're not a power lifter, there's really not as many benefits to sumo. Because one of the good things about sumo is, yes, it cuts the range of motion down, right? So it's a shorter range of motion. Now, this doesn't necessarily make it an easier lift just because it's a little bit more technical, but for powerlifting purposes, if you can move the heavier weight through a shorter range of motion, that's probably gonna help you as far as your overall total, right? Now, with that being said, there are a couple of other benefits to it. Aside from that, if you're somebody where you're having a lot of like back pumps with back pain, well, the sumo deadlift isn't as back dominant a pull as the conventional. It focuses more on the glutes and the hamstrings and your hips. And you're gonna get a little bit more quad activation as well, just because of the position that you're in. There's more knee flexion in a sumo deadlift, so therefore, you're just gonna be more quad dominant. Now, for the sumo deadlift, we're gonna start it, and different people have different stances. You're gonna see some people who are all the way out here, right? For just a traditional sumo stance, I like to use the outer rings right here, kind of is where I'm gonna motion it. We have our shin, once again, shins right against the bar, right? Now with this, we are gonna abduct your feet a little bit more. Right here, we're doing what's called spreading the floor. And the reason we want to do this is because it's going to give us a better base. So that way, when we're pulling, we're not already twisting out because we're already set, we're already there. Now from this position, it's the same thing, right? I'm going to bend at the knees, but this time I'm going to bend the knees more. Why? Because there's going to be, watch, more knee flexion than the conventional. And that's why there's going to activate the quads, which is more knee flexion. Now from this position, my hands are going to be a little bit wider. Now, my hands are on the inside of the list to the outside. A lot of people pull right here, but you still want to be shoulder width apart. Just because when you're pulling from this position, you're putting yourself in an unnatural position as far as your hips are wide, your shoulders are in close, right? You don't want that. Why? Because we still have to remember our back's still involved. It's not as involved with the conventional deadlift, but the back's still involved. If I'm like this, it's kind of hard for me to bring my shoulders back, right? So we want our hands about shoulder width apart, so that way, boom, can still bring your shoulders back. Now, from this position, same cues. We're gonna push to the heels, chest up, hips low, drive through, squeeze my glutes at the top. Bam. One. Come back down. Same thing. Chest up, hips low, push to the heels, squeeze my glutes at the top. Bam. Now with the sumo, keep in mind, and pretty much the same thing with the conventional, but the sumo especially, you are dragging that bar straight up your shins. Now here's the big thing. A lot of people with the sumo, they'll start too straight up. They'll be like this, right? And what you're doing is you're putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on your hips from starting from such an upright position. You're still gonna have a little bend over, right? So that's why you're gonna hover over the bar, come down, and then all we're doing is bringing our chest up. If your chest is up, your hips will be low enough in the position to pull from. You don't have to be straight up like this. You just bring it up enough, chest up, drive through, squeeze your glutes at the top. Back down. And that's what the sumo pull looks like. As I said, if you're somebody where maybe you're having some back issues, or like I said, for powerlifting, you want to shorten the range of motion, sumo's fine. And the reality is, some people, sumo just feels better than conventional because of how you're built anatomically. A lot of people, like for example, say you're a taller dude, longer legs, but really short arms, sumo may feel a lot better for you than conventional. That's the thing, people that tend to have longer arms tend to do a lot better with getting in position for conventional. Because if my arms were shorter, I had to really try to get even lower. That would make it a little bit harder. But with sumo, because of shorter range of motion, if you have shorter arms, it's easier to get in that position. So as far as which one you use, it's kind of similar like what I've said before in the past about squats. I don't care if you're low bar squatting, high bar squatting, or front squatting, just squat. Sort of the same thing with deadlifts. I don't really care if someone conventional or sumos, but it's important to understand to know why are you doing what you're doing. If it's an athlete, any type of athlete, I'm having them do conventional, period. It's a far more explosive movement, and the fact is, it has better carryover to everything else because it's a longer range of motion, so you're working those muscles a little bit more, and that's what we want. Now, what I will say for the sumo deadlift is that it's gonna come off the floor a lot slower. That's the thing. A lot of people, like, I'm sure you guys have heard this, who was it? I think it's Silent Mike that said it, that conventional is pretty much, excuse my language, like fucking, and that sumo is like making love. That's pretty much the truth. You probably can't see the difference with this light of a weight, but the reality is conventionals tend to be more explosive off the ground. Sumos tend to be a slightly slower pull, but a faster lockout, easier lockout as well. So that's pretty much it for both conventional and sumo. The last thing that I want to show you guys is called pulling the slack out of the bar. And the reason you want to do that is so that you're not wasting energy pulling the slack out of the bar during the pull itself. So what the slack is check this out. You guys hear that? That's the slack, right? Because I can pull the bar up against the plates a little bit. That's all it is, that's the noise you're hearing. So when I pull the slack out of the bar, what I'm doing is before I even pull, I'm gonna pull up on the bar a little bit. Boom, see I'm already pulled up against it. So right now I'm not, now I am. I'm already pulled up on the bar. And that's part of why you wanna bring your shoulders back, because if your chest is up, you bring your shoulders back, boom, slacks out of the bar, drive straight up, boom, like that. Versus, let's say I don't bring my shoulders back, right? Let's say I keep them forward and I pull up, you guys are gonna see, it comes up against the plates first, and then I come off the ground. It might be hard to tell with this little weight, but pulling the slack out of the bar is just gonna give you a faster, cleaner, more efficient pull. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's it for the conventional deadlift. That's it for the sumo deadlift. If you guys have any questions, you already know, leave a comment down below. But I hope I broke that down pretty easily. The main things to keep in mind, guys, is practice. Keep in mind that whenever you're doing a movement, especially something as technical as the sumo or that involves as many muscle groups as the conventional, it's gonna take time to get your form down, especially if you've been having bad habits. A lot of people have a tendency of rounding their back, or they start too high, or maybe they'll start too low. That's why I said, if you use those cues I gave you, you're gonna find the perfect starting position for you. Some people may start right here. Other people may start right here. That's fine. Like if you start here and you're comfortable with that, that's fine. If you're up here though, like that's me, because I used to be trying to get down here, right? But what would happen is I would end up coming up a little bit first and then pulling off the ground. So what I decided to do instead was just start a little bit higher. See, I'm still in alignment, chest is still up, still pulling the shoulders back, start a little bit higher. Boom. So as you guys see, my hips didn't raise first on that one. So you just have to work with it and find what's gonna be best for you. That's it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If you did not enjoy it, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do to get better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.
I am the greatest.